What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my movie review for the brand new film that is kickstarting the DC Extended Universe, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So we've been waiting on this movie for nearly 3 years, ever since Man of Steel appeared and they announced that this movie was going to actually happen. We have been clamoring and clamoring for this movie. Simply put, it's because of the thought of putting together the two most iconic superheroes ever on screen in a live action movie for the first time ever. Yes, folks, undoubtedly, Batman and Superman are the two most iconic and two most well-known comic book superheroes ever created. So of course you have to already know that the anticipation for this film was at an all-time high. Here we are, 2016, the film has finally hit theaters, and here's my review. By the way, this is a spoiler-free review, so you don't have to worry about me spoiling any major plot points in the film. Okay, first of all, the great things that I love about this movie. Ben Affleck as Batman was phenomenal. For all the people that criticized him back when they first announced his casting, you were wrong. This man does an incredible job as Bruce Wayne and as the Batman. I mean, seriously, everything about him, the fight choreography, the physicality that he put himself through to get prepared for the role, the way he delivers the role, you just totally believe Ben Affleck as this character. Also, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I thought she did a phenomenal job. She didn't have much to work with, she didn't have many speaking parts, but I thought she was phenomenal in the movie, and she added in a completely new element that added a level of mystery that we wouldn't have had without her character. Also, Henry Cavill as Superman, I always thought he's done a phenomenal job as Superman. I really enjoyed him in Man of Steel. I enjoy him here as well. He's another character that doesn't really have much to work with as far as his dialogue and the script goes, because he doesn't really have that many layers in terms of what he is in the script. But the way Henry Cavill performs as Superman, he really makes you believe that he is this character. Also, you gotta talk about the visual elements of this film. This film looks absolutely gorgeous. Zack Snyder has a long history of delivering cinematically beautiful films like 300 and Watchmen, and he just takes it up so many levels in this movie. I mean, there's really a sense of a grand, epic scale, like it's very much a visual story, and just all the different locations and the effects and the fight scenes and just everything looks absolutely brilliant. And folks, this is a movie that you want to see on the biggest screen possible. You want to see it on an IMAX screen. There are certain sequences that are filmed in IMAX, and it just adds to the whole cinematic viewing experience that much more. So now, to get into the more negative aspects of this movie that I don't enjoy. First and foremost, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, absolutely terrible decision. Absolutely terrible. His character was so annoying throughout the entire film. Jesse Eisenberg, he just seemed as if he was trying to overdo it. He was trying to add too much to the character. He actually overperformed. And quite honestly, I could say about an hour into the movie, I was already completely sick of his character. So moving forward, I don't know exactly what Warner Brothers and DC has in store for his character, but I shudder to think at the idea of seeing him on screen at all ever again in this universe. Speaking of Lex Luthor's character, he had zero motivation for why he hated Superman or why he wanted Batman and Superman to fight. Like, zero motivation at all. This story had so many holes as far as the plot and the narrative goes, I was just left confused. So to talk about another thing, I talked about it a little bit in my positive aspects, but also the negative aspect of a visually gorgeous film is that there's so much CGI. And yes, I get it, we're talking about characters like Superman or Wonder Woman, you can't really achieve them without CGI, but gee whiz, this movie is loaded with so many CGI effects. Sometimes it just completely removes you from the movie and you're just like, wow, this is so fake right now. And not all of it actually looks that good. And then the editing of this movie was so sloppy because there were so many characters. They were just jumping back and forth between a lot of different scenes and a lot of different characters. It didn't feel cohesive. It didn't feel connected. Another thing that I didn't like about this movie, way too long. This movie clocks in at 2 hours and 31 minutes, folks. That is a long, long movie. It could have done without a good 15 or 20 of it. So trust me, you have to sit back and mentally prepare yourself to actually watch and sit through this movie because it's a lot. It's a lot to consume. Also, I didn't really have much fun watching this movie. I felt like it was supposed to be a fun movie, and not in a Marvel sense of fun where there's a bunch of comedy and quips, but I thought that I was gonna be on the edge of my seat in this movie. I thought I was gonna genuinely enjoy it and want more, but I didn't. I never felt that way. I can say that there were probably 2 or maybe 3 moments where I actually felt like, holy crap, this is huge right now. I'm actually getting goosebumps, but for the majority of the movie, I never felt that way. Okay, and also, we all knew that this was gonna happen. The introduction of the Justice League was added in such a lazy fashion. It was so shoehorned in. I really did not like the approach that they took as far as introducing those characters and giving you this sneak preview and adding on to the Dawn of Justice side. It was so lazily added, and it doesn't make me excited for the movie. Another thing that was spoiled by the previews, which is a huge thing that really ruined this experience for me, the addition of Doomsday, while it was okay to see him, that part was very underwhelming because we already knew it was coming due to the second trailer that had been released back in December. And that's another thing, folks. If the trailers had not revealed so much in anticipation for this movie, I felt like my viewing experience would have been that much better. Think about this. Imagine if we never saw Doomsday in the trailer. Imagine if we never saw Wonder Woman in full costume. Imagine if we never saw Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman standing next to each other. How much better those moments would have been in the movie had they not been revealed in trailers in anticipation leading up to this movie. And again, to be quite honest, the actual fight between Batman and Superman was a little underwhelming. Why? Because they added in so many scenes of it in the trailers. So the people at Warner Brothers, seriously, as you move forward with this universe, please hold some stuff back. Yeah, show us a little bit. We're all very excited for this stuff, but hold some stuff back. Because if you add in too much into the trailers, it's just gonna completely ruin the in-theater experience, and you're not gonna get the reactions that you probably hope to get. Another negative about this movie, they completely glossed over just the philosophical differences between Batman and Superman that I thought we were gonna get. As I feared, this movie really was not about Batman versus Superman. It was about other things that were just completely distracted from the title of this movie. Batman's perspective, we understood his philosophical differences that he had from Superman due to the destruction in Metropolis when Superman first appeared to mankind. But we never got a complete explanation for why Superman did not like Batman. They glossed over it just a little bit on how he was a vigilante and he took the law into his own hands, but they really didn't explore it. And I just feel like that was just such a huge missed opportunity that they could have delved into so much more. Exploring the philosophical differences between 2 different types of people, 2 different types of beings, and 2 different types of heroes. And again, folks, the script and the plot and the narrative of this movie was just so choppy and so confusing as a whole. Zack Snyder, I give him his credit. He's an incredible visual director. He can tell a visual story, but I'm not sure if he can tell a narrative story from a script perspective. It just didn't work at all for me. And I felt like they were trying to do so much with this movie. In 2 hours and 31 minutes, they were trying to do so much. They were trying to introduce Batman. They were trying to introduce Lex Luthor. They were trying to introduce Wonder Woman. They were trying to build up anticipation for the Justice League. They were trying to introduce Doomsday. So many different things that should not be compacted and consolidated into one movie. They should have spread this out a little bit more. And that was my criticism about this universe to begin with when they first announced the schedule, the fact that they weren't having lead-up movies to a Justice League. This is simply just one movie really prior to the Justice League. I really don't count Suicide Squad because that's an entirely different entity from the Justice League. We really have this and then the Justice League, and that's it. It's not much build-up, and with that, you don't create enough room to tell the stories of these characters. Because of that, a lot of the times I did not feel like I was actually invested into these characters. I didn't feel emotionally invested as I thought I would. So yes, I have a lot of bad things about this movie that I really don't like, that I really wish they would have revisited and redone. However, there are some good things about this movie. It's not a terrible movie, but it's also not a great movie. I don't think that this puts their cinematic or extended universe in jeopardy. I just think moving forward, they have to take all of these things under consideration and learn from all of these lessons in order to make a better product for the fans. So folks, with all of that said, I am going to give Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice a 6.5 out of 10. Yes, a 6.5 out of 10. That's a pretty low score typically from what I give, especially for a movie of this magnitude, but there's so many issues with it. Like I said, it's not a terrible film, but it has so much room for improvement, and I just think that they could have done so many things differently and so many things better. Hopefully DC, Warner Brothers, Zack Snyder's and his whole crew learn from the mistakes that they made in this movie and make improvements for the Justice League so that we can get a superior quality product. Alright folks, that's all I got from my movie review of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. As always, follow me on social media at JRW the Creator, Twitter and Instagram, and then go check out my website, JordanRWilliams.com, for more. And as always folks, I'll see you next time.